Hi, this is David at Mash IT, and tonight we're finally doing an unboxing of both the Legion 5 Pro and the Legion 7. Now these are two highly anticipated laptops by us. We've had them on order since March, and there's been a massive shortage in the UK. It's been really difficult getting them, and they both turned up yesterday, which is quite a nice surprise. So we thought we'd unbox them both together, put them side by side, and take a quick look at these. So we're starting off with the Legion 5 Pro. This has got the black box, and then we'll open up the Legion 7 and we'll take a look at the packaging that you get on each of these and what you get in the boxes. So the Legion 5 Pro that we've received, we chose to buy the Legion 5 Pro with the 5600H, which is the 6-core 12 thread, and also the 3060 to see how the sort of the base model stacks up against the Legion 7, which we've also got, which is the 5800H and the 3070. Okay, so we've got a Legion sticker, UK power cable, a huge 300 watt power supply. Now this is the Legion 5 Pro with a mere 5600H and 3060, yet they've still given us a massive 300 watt power supply. You could also, I believe, when you're configuring them, if you buy a configured unit, change that to the 230 watt power brick, but I didn't configure it, it just came with this 300. So no problem powering the laptop with that, but it is very bulky and heavy. Another Legion sticker. So we've got the usual Legion booklets and safety guides, won't be reading those. And then onto the laptop itself. Now it's packed in foam. It's got a material sort of sleeve. You wouldn't actually use this, but it's going to keep the laptop safe in the box. Now here we are, the 5 Pro. Now you may well have already seen a review of this. There's been a fair few reviews already out on this model. So we're not going to do probably just an in-depth review on just this model. We're going to do more of a comparison with the Legion 7. Feels quite hefty, we'll weigh that in a second. It's got the Y-style Legion logo that lights up. So it feels, I'm not sure if that's, yeah, it feels like a metallic lid with the Y logo that lights up. I know a lot of people have complained that it's gone back to this Y logo. You can turn the light off with a function key, which is quite handy. Now on the left side, we've got a USB-C. Now bear in mind this won't be Thunderbolt because this is a Ryzen laptop. And we've got a headset jack. Quite a nice venting area there for pumping air out the side. On the other side, we've got the manual shutter for the webcam, so you can turn your webcam off. A USB 3.1 and some more venting. And the bulk of your ports are on the rear. So we've got the nice sort of like afterburner sort of rear jets there for pumping air out at the back. Then we've got an RJ45. We've got another USB-C, which has also got power delivery, which would be quite handy. Two USB 3s, an HDMI, another USB 3, which also supports charging your devices. And then lastly, the power cable. There's a little LED light, which shows you when you're connected and charging the laptop. And then if we look at the bottom, I think it feels like metal. I'll have a look in a minute when I open it up. And then we've got quite a lot of air intake there. Now you can see I am putting fingerprints on there. It does attract fingerprints, but they do wipe off easily. So that's the 5 Pro. Let's take a quick look at the 7. Okay, another power lead. So again, we've got the 300 watts power brick with this model. We should more expect this because obviously we've got the 140 watt 3070 and a 5800H. So you would expect quite a high wattage power adapter with this model. So that's to be expected. Again, it's quite bulky, but at least it is flat. Okay, so this is a box within a box. We've got a nice Legion sealed box here with this model. So a little bit different to the way that they've packaged the Legion 5 Pro. I guess they're trying to give you a more premium feel with the Legion 7. It's certainly not as easy as opening an Apple product. So still got a bit of a way to go. Let's open her up. Oh, so this is quite nice. So upon opening the box, we've got a nice little piece of cards which gives us some information about the laptop. That's quite a nice little feature to add in there at the top. So it shows you where you're plugging in your charger. It gives you information about the laptop, about what your ports are and where your power switch is. And it also, this is quite a nice feature, it tells you what your hotkeys with the function key are, such as the function and Q for turning your power profiles and the function of R for changing your frame rate on the monitor. That's a really nice feature. That's really good. Put that to one side. Okay, we've got the laptop in a nice little sleeve. Just before I open that, let's have a quick look what's underneath it. We've got the Legion stickers again. So you've got the logo and the Legion name. And we have got nice little Legion card. That's quite nice. Certainly much better than Dell Alienware when it comes to an unboxing experience. The Dells, over the years, you get less and less with a laptop. You used to, obviously, a long time ago, you'd get a hat and all sorts of things when you bought an Alienware. Now you get the laptop and a power adapter. So this is much nicer experience than buying an Alienware, that's for sure. This definitely feels lighter than the 5 Pro. Get this box out of the way so you can see the laptop. I'll put that up there. Right, so here we are, the Legion 7. This is the one I've actually been looking forward to. So it definitely feels more premium straight away. Metal lids, definitely a nice metal bottom. Rather than the sort of the lines in the actual vents, you've got lots of little sort of pressed holes. Gives it a nice look. Downward foreign speakers. It's a bit of a shame, but you know, it's a gaming laptop that you very rarely get a gaming laptop with really nice speakers. Now, rather than the Y logo with the 7, we've actually got the Legion written on one edge, and the actual in the middle of the O that lights up with a little Y logo, but that looks much more professional. I do much prefer this to the 5 Pro. We've also got a Lenovo logo on the left hand side of the laptop, and we don't get the sort of the afterburner vents. This definitely feels like a more professional model than the 5 Pro, which is one of the reasons I particularly liked it. Apart from it does have a lot more RGB, but you can switch that off. Now if we look to the side of the laptop, we've got the same webcam shutter as we had on the 5 Pro, but instead of a USB port that we've got in the 5 Pro, you'll notice that we've got a USB-C. So I don't know why they've decided to give you an extra USB-C. If we switch to the other side, we've got another USB-C and a headset jack. If I move to the rear, there are our fan grills, but they don't protrude like they do on the 5 Pro, and we will put them together in a second so you can see the difference in size. Then we've got our RJ45. We've got a third USB-C. Now again, none of these are Thunderbolt because this is Ryzen. This USB-C has power delivery like the 5 Pro. That's a nice feature with these laptops. We've got two USB 3.1s, an HDMI 2.1, a final USB 3, and the power input. Right, so before I open these up, what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to put them side by side, and then we're going to weigh them, and then we're going to open up and have a look inside. Now I'm going to put the rear of them up against each other here so that we can see the difference in size between the two. So side by side, we can definitely see that the Legion 7 is smaller than the Legion 5 Pro. Not only is it a little bit slimmer, it's actually a bit more narrow because it doesn't have the rear vent sticking out so much on the 7 like the 5 Pro does. It gives it a very slightly narrower profile here as well as the height. Now they still perform, or the Legion 7 performs as well if not better than the 5 Pro, because the Legion 7 actually has a vapor chamber, whereas the 5 Pro only has a heatsink and fan setup. In the reviews we will be checking out the thermal performance between these two. I'm going to stack the 7 on top of the 5. I'm going to try and get it level. So width-wise, they are the same. And I'm going to just try and put it to the side again so we highlight the difference in the depth. Right, so now I'm going to just weigh them. Okay, so the Legion 5 Pro, that comes in at 2.57 kilograms, or 5 pounds and 10 ounces. The Legion 7, so just basically just shy of 2.5 kilograms, or 5 pounds and 8 ounces. So it's actually, it felt different. I felt like the Legion 5 Pro was much heavier, so it's actually quite deceiving. There's not much in it. And also the power brick, which is obviously quite a chunker. The power brick on its own is just under 900 grams, or £1 and 15 ounces. So you're literally talking about the weight of a premium ultrabook or an iPad. So that is quite a heavy power brick you are going to be carrying with you. I know that some people have brought this up as a negative. Personally, although it is quite big and it's quite heavy, I would rather have a power brick that's well up to the job and doesn't overheat like some other manufacturers. Okay, so I'm going to plug both these in, fire them up, and we're going to have a look at the insides. I'm just going to cut to that now. So I've got the laptops on charge. I've set up Windows ready on both these machines and they are now in sleep. So first of all, we'll have a quick look at the top of the laptops whilst they're plugged in and show you a couple of things. Firstly, in sleep mode, the Legion 5 Pro, you'll see that the actual Y logo flashes away in its sleep. Makes it nice and obvious that the machine's in sleep. It's a nice little feature. Now the Legion 7 is a bit more subtle in how this does it, because obviously we've got this much smaller Y logo as part of the O on the Legion. And again, that flashes to show that it's in sleep. So if you're in a dark room, you're still going to see that nicely, but it's a much more subtle sleep logo than the 5 Pro. Also, when you plug the power adapters in, on the 5 Pro, you get a little white LED that shows you you're charged, or yellow if you're charging. It's quite a nice feature. Some laptops don't have anything. But on the Legion 7, you've got a power adapter icon, which does the same. It's lit up white here because we're charged. And that's a lovely little feature. And that's something that this Legion 7 has that the 5 Pro doesn't have. All the ports at the back are lit. And that is such a lovely feature because the ports are at the back. You can stick your head around the back of your lid. And because they're so lit, it's very easy to find the port you need to plug into. Right, let's open them up. With both these laptops, they're nice and easy to open because you've got a lovely cutout on the top lid. So it's easy to find it with your thumb and lift it up. So there's one, there's the other. Both open nicely with one hand. You'll see, because the Legion 5 Pro has a slightly fatter profile, the actual screen comes up a little bit higher than the Legion 7. Which leads me to the next part, which is the actual deck of the machines themselves. The Legion 7 has a fully RGB keyboard, and you can see that sort of glowing away nicely. It's a True Strike keyboard. It's got Corsair IQ software to control the actual lights. There is a bit of a bug. Jared's done a great review on it where it actually drains the battery life using the IQ software, but you can just leave that software off and just have just the inbuilt effects, and they are quite nice. Whereas the 5 Pro, by default, you'll just get a normal white backlight, or you can have a 4-zone RGB keyboard, but it doesn't do whites very well apparently. On the Legion 7, we've also got a nice RGB light bar along the front and around each side, which comes out of the fan grills. Again, a nice touch, and it can be too much, but you can turn it off if you wish. The 5 Pro has nothing like that. It's much more bare bones. It is purely just the keyboard itself. The decks, I'm not sure if this is plastic. It feels more metallic than the 5 Pro. This is a rough plastic on the 5 Pro. This could be an aluminium, or it might just be a higher quality plastic. Now the touchpads on both of the machines, they are both a plastic touchpad. They both glide nicely, they both work great, but I would have preferred a glass touchpad. But these aren't expensive laptops compared to a lot of their competitors out there. Now the power buttons, you'll see we've got a little white light on the power buttons on both of these machines. Now with these power buttons, if you press functioning Q, you can switch the power modes. White is just your balance mode, blue is your power saver mode, and you can go to your red and it will give you your performance mode. Now when you're gaming with these laptops, if you whack it on that red, you're getting the highest TGP of the graphics card, and this is something we're going to cover more in the actual review and the comparison review of these units. Moving up to the screens, both these laptops have the same panel, and this panel is one of the biggest selling points of these laptops. Both of these have a 16-inch 500 nit 2560 by 1600p IPS display with G-Sync. They've got MUX switches, so you can have just running the dedicated RTX graphics, or you can switch them to Optimus and have it switch between the Vegas and the RTX graphics. These panels are absolutely amazing, and it is honestly the biggest selling point of these laptops. Now we've recently reviewed the M15R5 with a QHD screen, and again that was a really fantastic panel, but that was a 16:9 panel, which if you're only watching movies and you're only watching gaming, that's still a really great screen. But if you're working, gaming, and watching movies. A 16 by 10 panel gives you a little bit of extra vertical space, which is much, much better for actual work and still great for gaming. Finally, moving up to the top, we've got our web camera and microphones, but something that the 7 has that the 5 Pro doesn't is the 7 comes with Tobii Eye support, which is quite an interesting one. Again, Tobii Eye is not something that I would use in any of the games that are out there, but I know certain games do feature support for Tobii Eye and some people do like it. So another added benefit, considering this laptop isn't that much more expensive than the 5 Pro, it's a nice little feature. Just want to focus on the keyboards on these laptops very quickly as well before we finish off. The 7 has the True Strike keyboard, whereas the 5 Pro has just the standard keyboard. They've both got a number pad and they've got pretty much identical layout, but obviously we know that this has got the IQ per key RGB. But typing on this True Strike keyboard, it does feel very soft. And this is one thing that's a little bit disappointing. I actually prefer the key travel and the pressure on the 5 Pro. The 7, the keys are so soft you can accidentally click them sometimes if you're just resting your fingers on the keys. Having come from some recent reviews on the Alienware M15s and M17s, which have a lovely pressure and a great keyboard, this is a little bit disappointing, and that's the one thing. Because this is the flagship of the Legion range, I'm a bit disappointed in the actual typing experience of this Legion 7. Also, bearing in mind that Lenovo make the actual ThinkPads, which have probably the best keyboard in the marketplace for a laptop. Right, so just a very quick check on the speakers of both these units to see if they are the same or if they're slightly different. Both these models have downward firing speakers. That's the one disappointment I have with these laptops. So we're going to start with the 5 Pro and then do the 7. Here we go. This is at 30% volume. Now 50%. Well, it's a clear win for the Legion 7 there. It's definitely a little bit louder and much fuller sound, considering it is downward firing speakers. I definitely much prefer listening to music or audio or game sounds on this Legion 7. Now, we will be doing a full review and full comparison review of these two. So if you wish to see that, please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. And also, if you've got any questions or if you want us to check anything between these two, please make sure you drop that in the comments down below so that we get time to get that into the review for you. And lastly, thank you for watching.